It was the most important room in the galaxy, high above the clouds of Veridan Prime. The hall shimmered like crystal in the sun. Inside, leaders of over 200 alien civilizations had gathered, tall beings made of smoke, insect-like diplomats, clicking softly. Scaled monarchs, seated on floating chairs, all of them had come for one reason: peace. After decades of war and death, the galaxy wanted calm. The Unity Accord was to be signed today. Every major power had agreed except for one: humanity, and now humanity had finally arrived. The doors to the Accord Hall opened. A line of humans stepped in, quiet, slow, serious. Their uniforms were black, no flag, no smile, no emotion. At the front was Earth's representative. No one knew his name. His face was unreadable. His eyes were cold. The room went silent as the humans walked down the center aisle. Aliens whispered in their languages. Some mocked. Others watched with caution. The humans took their seats without a word. The Grand Speaker of the Accord stood, a glowing being of pure energy. His voice echoed in every mind. Let us finish what we started. Let peace rise today. Cheers filled the chamber. One by one, species stood to give their support. The Doran swarm, who once wiped out moons, now bowed in peace. The Karth Dominion, who held fire in their blood, offered trade and open borders. The Zarn Collective, who enslaved entire planets, asked for forgiveness. Then came the moment. All eyes turned to the humans. The speaker looked toward them. Earth, humanity, the final voice. Do you accept the Unity Accord? The chamber grew. Still no answer. Seconds passed. The human representative stood. His boots echoed in the hall. He walked to the center. Every being leaned forward. He stared straight at the speaker, then looked across the entire crowd. His voice was cold, measured, slow. This peace is a lie. A shockwave of silence fell. No one moved. No one breathed. Then the transmission cut. The human representative turned around and walked out. So did the others. No words. No emotion. Gone. Confusion filled the room. What does that mean? Someone shouted. Is this a threat? They didn't even say no. The speaker raised a hand to calm them. He forced a smile. Perhaps they need more time. Humans are dramatic. A nervous laugh passed through the crowd. But deep down, something had changed. Back on Earth, in a cold mountain bunker, the human representative removed his uniform. He looked into a screen. An old man appeared, gray hair, sharp eyes, the supreme commander of Earth defense. You delivered the message. Yes, sir. And the effect, exactly as expected. Shock, doubt, some fear. The old man nodded. Good, let them laugh, let them guess. But prepare the fleets anyway. We don't trust peace born from lies. Meanwhile, across the galaxy, the Accord chamber emptied slowly. Some delegates were confused, some were angry, but some were scared. The Varn High Priest turned to her guards. I saw no joy in their eyes, only silence, darkness. The leader of the Teledrix Council watched the replay. They didn't deny peace. They rejected the game itself. And far, far away, in the outer systems, a hidden station of the core empire picked up strange movement. A massive human fleet silent, invisible, moving like a shadow across the stars. 3 days later, news spread fast. Human embassies across many planets were closed. human citizens quietly returned to Earth space. All diplomatic lines went dark. The galactic net buzzed with rumors. Are humans planning something? Why walk away now? What did they mean by this peace is a lie? Debates erupted. The speaker of the Accord held a new press conference. The humans are unpredictable, yes, but they have no cause for war. Still, the doubt grew. Even old enemies of Earth began to worry not about humans attacking, but about what humans knew that no one else did. In the deep void, a hidden human ship intercepted transmissions from the Zaan Collective. Something strange was happening near there. Border ships disappearing, colonies going dark. The Zaan blamed pirates, but Earth's intelligence said something darker was rising. The humans knew the Unity Accord. The Great Peace Treaty wasn't peace at all. It was a cover. Something was coming, and the humans weren't going to play along. Back at the Accord Council, emergency meetings were called. The word humanity now brought silence in rooms once filled with noise. The Grand Speaker paced. We need to speak to them again. Bring them back. But the message from Earth was short. We said all we needed to say in secret. A few alien leaders met without the Accord's knowledge. They were worried, not about humans, but about what the humans might be preparing for. The head of the Vaan whispered, what if they know something we don't? What if the threat is not them, but beyond them? The others agreed. Earth has always been different, quiet, watching, waiting. They warned us once, and we ignored them. Back on Earth, fleets moved in silence. Massive warships, hidden for years, powered up. Satellites blinked in hidden codes. Old warnings from the stars were replayed. A pattern was found. An ancient threat. Returning, the Supreme Commander of Earth spoke to the Defense Council. The Unity Accord is not peace. It's denial. And we won't stand in line while the galaxy walks blind into fire. He looked around the room. We're not starting a war. We're preparing for the real one. Final scene in deep space. A human exploration ship drifted near the edge of known space. They detected something impossible, a signal older than light, a warning from another galaxy, one word translated clearly, return. And as the ship turned, the stars behind them flickered and then moved. Something vast was coming, and Earth was ready. The Grand Accord Hall stood quiet now. The shimmering lights had dimmed. The soft music that once filled the air had faded. The place where over 200 species had gathered just hours ago now felt hollow, but the memory of the moment still echoed. 5 words. This peace is a lie. Spoken by Earth's top diplomat, a woman named Alina Voss, calm, steady, emotionless. And then silence. She had stood, turned, and walked out. Her delegation followed. No explanation, no negotiation, no goodbye. The moment. Earth's group stepped off the platform and into their waiting shuttle. A chill had settled across the council chamber. No one had dared speak for nearly a minute. Then, slowly, questions started, whispers, confusion. But now it was worse, because Earth had gone completely dark. No signals, no response, no trace. Across the stars, questions grew on the Trinix homeworld. Grand Speaker Harlow watched the footage again. He had viewed it over 100 times now. He slowed the video, zoomed in on Elena's eyes. There was something there, some deep sadness. Or was it rage? She hadn't blinked once. Her voice hadn't trembled, and she didn't look surprised when the chamber gasped. almost like she expected it. His aide spoke softly. "Should we call for a new summit?" Harlow shook his head. "No, not yet. We need to understand what they meant. The panic begins while most of the council tried to return to normal. Some races didn't. The Krell, an insectoid species who once warred with Earth, ordered full fleet readiness. The Varn Collective activated its deep space warning systems. Even the Jiraiya, peaceful, spiritual race, began rerouting their ships away from human borders, because deep down, everyone remembered one thing. Earth had only joined the galactic stage after a war, and it was not a small one, when pirates attacked. Early human colonies, Earth didn't ask for help. They didn't plead. They responded with fire, with silence, with terrifying precision. A single human battle group wiped out 6 pirate factions in less than 2 years. And when it was over, Earth didn't celebrate. They just kept building. That quiet power. It scared people, and now Earth was silent. Again, the human border out, near the edge of soul space, a Varn scout ship hovered just outside known human territory. Its sensors were maxed out. Its captain, Unit 9K, had strict orders: scan, observe, and report. But all they found was nothing. No patrols, no ships, not even static signals, just dead silence. Then, just as the Varn ship prepared to leave, its forward scanners picked up something odd. Not a weapon, not a ship, a small buoy, floating, drifting. They pulled it aboard. The crew circled it carefully. It was black, no markings, no power readings. Then suddenly, it blinked. Only once, a red light flashed in the center, and a message began to play in. "Audio, do not return. This is your only warning." The message looped. Council emergency meeting back at the galactic core. An emergency meeting was called. Species shouted over each other. Accusations flew. Humans are planning something. They've already broken communications. That's a threat. This was always their plan. The Krell ambassador slammed his clawed hand on the table. Earth has left the Accord. That makes them a rogue system. We must prepare a unified response. But the Jirai elder, calm and serene, shook his head. "No, this is not a declaration of war. Not yet. This is a signal, a test. Of what?" Someone shouted. "Of our fear." The elder said, "Elena's last words are known to most. Earth had sent one final private message. It was encoded and sent only to a few key allies. Inside the encrypted packet was a single file, an old Earth quote from a man named Martin Luther King. It read, "Peace is not merely the absence of war, but the presence of justice." No further explanation, no name, no context. The quote spread like wildfire, and suddenly more began to wonder. Was Earth angry, or were they grieving? A secret uncovered on a forgotten moon near the edge of the known galaxy. A research outpost run by the Soren Empire made a quiet discovery. Their deep scans picked up something buried deep beneath the surface. Metal, ancient, human, but this world had never been visited by humans so the records. The Galactic Council met again. This time behind closed doors. The Unity Accord had failed. The humans had walked out. No one was laughing now. Inside the dim-lit chamber of the council core, diplomats of over 200 species gathered once again. Air felt heavier. Whispers filled the room like dust in sunlight. The humans, why didn't they speak earlier? Asked the tall, insectoid diplomat of the Vexery swarm. They said enough, replied Grand Arbiter Saloon of the Nithari. Her voice was calm, but her hands trembled behind her robes. A recording of the human representative played again on the massive holographic walls. 5 words echoed across the chamber. "This peace is a lie." Silence followed. It wasn't just a statement, it was a warning. A galaxy on edge across. The stars' reaction was swift. On news channels, alien anchors debated endlessly. Is Earth preparing for war? Was the accord always fake? Did the humans find something we didn't? Everywhere, populations watched footage of the humans silently leaving the hall, their dark uniforms like a funeral procession. Some cheered, saying Earth had finally shown its true, dangerous face. Others wept, saying peace had never truly existed without humanity's trust. But the most powerful leaders of the galaxy didn't speak at all. They were too busy reading what came next. The human file in the depths of the Galactic Intelligence Network, a report, was marked Red Sovereign Highest Level Secrecy. The subject, Earth. The data had been collected quietly for years. Spy probes, intercepted transmissions, stolen technology, but none of it made sense. The humans had stopped expanding. Their war fleets had not moved in a decade. They attended every summit, said the right words, signed small treaties, but they never revealed their true strength. The analysts had noticed patterns. Too much silence, too much restraint. One report concluded, they are waiting, for what? Nobody knew, but now that they had left, the galaxy felt like it was holding its breath. Behind, human eyes deep in the Sol system, the humans had returned to Earth. No interviews, no broadcasts, nothing, just silence. From orbit, Earth looked unchanged. Blue oceans, white clouds, green lands, but hidden beneath its surface were tunnels that reached deep into the planet's crust. Inside, in massive vaults of steel and light, Project Breakpoint had been reactivated. The words of Earth's lead strategist, General Halden Voss, echoed in the command center. They wanted peace only to make us soft, he said coldly. But the line has been crossed. No more pretending. Across multiple colonies, fleets powered up, ships that had slept for years came online, dark, angular, unmarked, silent but deadly. But no launch orders were given yet. Earth was watching, waiting, preparing, rumors. In the outer rim, the farthest reaches of known space, stories spread fast. A mining ship in the Zoltar expanse claimed to see a massive human ship moving through the void faster than anything known. It didn't respond to hails. It didn't stop. It just moved past, silent as a ghost. Another merchant convoy claimed that their route near the Sirius line was suddenly cleared of pirates. The raiders' wrecks were found floating, cut in half by unknown weapons. No one saw who did it, but the damage matched only one known signature, Earthgrade, plasma-lattice fire. Still, there was no proof, only rumors and fear. The panic begins back. In the council core, emergency meetings ran for days. The Altari ambassador, thin and scaled, slammed his data tablet on the table. Why didn't we stop them earlier? Why did we trust them? No one wanted another war, said Saloon. Especially not with them. One junior advisor from the Yulan people spoke up, nervously. What if the humans never wanted war, but they saw something in our peace we didn't? All eyes turned. What do you mean? The young Yulan hesitated. What if their silence wasn't about strength, but disappointment? The room fell still. The idea cut deeper than any threat. Transmission intercepted days after the humans left the Accord. A secret transmission was caught by a listening post on the edge of the Keldron cluster. Encrypted, human origin, high priority. It was sent to a location with no known star or station, but decryption finally worked. Just 3 lines. We watched them lie to each other. We gave them time to be honest. Now we act alone. The cold moves without declaring anything. Humanity began recalling all diplomats from alien worlds. Human embassies dimmed their lights. Earth trade slowed to 0. A cold silence stretched across the stars. The Council tried to contact them, no answer. Even their allies' small colonies, like New Harmonia and Vega 12, were silent. A strange thing happened on the galactic trade networks. Human code keys stopped working. They weren't hacked. They weren't removed. Earth had shut the door. Now the galaxy wondered what was behind it. A crack in the accord without human cooperation. The Unity Accord began to weaken. Member worlds questioned each other's trust. Old enemies brought up old borders. Border patrols began to rise. Skirmishes erupted on minor planets, and yet still, no one made the first move, because even now, all feared the one question that no one dared ask aloud. What is Earth going to do next? Final scene in the outer solar system, beyond Neptune's cold orbit. A human probe activated. Its signal was silent, but powerful. It mapped the galactic sectors with new parameters. A display on its side lit up. Target, strategic nonylese. Probe vanished into the stars. Earth never said another word, but something had begun, and the galaxy could feel it. It started with silence, and silence was ending. The Galactic Council believed it was just posturing. When humans walked out of the Grand Accord Summit, most thought they'd return, maybe with new demands, maybe with threats, but still return. They didn't. For 10 standard cycles, Earth was silent. No transmissions, no trade, no diplomats. Even Earth's colonies stopped responding. It was like a dark curtain had dropped across every human star system, and the silence it scared people. A world-watching Shadow's ambassador Thyla of the Versailles Confederation stood in front of his homeworld's massive crystal display. The news anchors of dozens of species filled the screen, all asking the same questions. Where is Earth? What are the humans planning? Was this a bluff, or the beginning of something worse? Thyla turned away from the screen. His feathers were flat against his skull, clear sign of stress. He remembered the human representatives' last words at the Accord. This peace is a lie. No one knew what it meant. Some believed it was a metaphor, others thought it was a warning. But what scared him most was that Earth hadn't explained anything since. And across the stars, strange reports began to spread. Disappearances in the outer zones started small. A small Draken patrol near the Hellion Rim disappeared without trace. They'd been near an unclaimed system, once thought to be barren. Then, a mining station went dark. No signs of attack, no distress calls, just silence. Within days, 3 more incidents were reported, all in regions close to former human colonies. Council military officers brushed it off. Pirates, maybe, faulty tech. Nothing serious, but someone noticed a pattern. Every lost ship had entered space once touched by humanity, and Earth's silence continued. The 8th ring broadcast. Then came the broadcast. It lasted only 13 seconds. It interrupted every major network. A black screen, a human voice, calm, cold. Do not cross into our space. We have ended diplomacy. Violations will be treated as acts of war. No image, no face, no signature, just coordinates and silence. The coordinates pointed to an unimportant border system near Proxima S. But when a recon team was sent to scan it, they found something terrifying. Not one, but 7 new orbital platforms. Massive, heavily armed, carrying human fleet. Markings that had never been registered before, and more were being built. The panic begins in the Grand Council Hall. Arguments exploded. The Zeraki accused humans of threatening galactic peace. The Visari urged for patience. The Thalkor wanted to mobilize fleets just in case. But none had real intelligence. Earth wasn't speaking. The only ones who might know something were the core line observers, small stations secretly watching. Earth's systems. Observer Station Videlta sent out a single word in its last transmission: movement. Then nothing. Another blackout. It was clear now. Earth was preparing for something. Fleets in the dark, in the cold shadows of deep space. Earth's war fleets stirred, but these were not the old Terran Navy ships known to the galaxy. These vessels were new designed. In silence, built in secret, powered by technologies no outsider had seen. Each ship bore no name, no call sign, only the sigil of Earth, a dark blue planet encircled by a single silver ring. Across abandoned human colonies, massive dry docks came, back to life. Automated systems awakened. AI warcourse began to operate at full capacity. Thousands of vessels blinked online, crewed by silence, controlled with precision. The voice of the void then, from an old human deep space relay long thought abandoned her. Second message came, but this time it was broadcast only to the Council's top leaders. Secure channels, Priority 1. Again, just a few words. You failed the test. Now we prepare. The message included a list. 10 names, each belonging to a council member species. Each had a history: alliances, betrayals, secret deals. Deals humanity had quietly documented for over a century. The galaxy had forgotten Earth's. Eyes were everywhere. Now it remembered. The storm is coming. Captain Lynn Rhea stood aboard the human dreadnought Vindicator. Her crew silent professionals, battle-born, all wearing dark grey uniforms with no rank shown. She looked out the observation deck at the forming fleet. Behind her, Admiral Keel's voice came through the intercom. The AC. The news spread like wildfire across the stars. Earth had gone dark. Not just politically, completely. No ships left their ports. No transmissions, no trade. The once busy human stations near the rim now floated silent and dead, like old bones in the void. The Galactic Accord sent scouts. They found only warning beacons, all flashing the same eerie message: do not follow, do not search. Let silence be the only answer. The Council was stunned. Some thought it was a trick. Others believed humans were bluffing. But the silence dragged on for days, then weeks, then 3 standard months. Still nothing. And that's when the accident started. The Fralgari incident in a peaceful system near the core. A research facility went dark. When a patrol ship arrived, they found the station intact, but the entire crew was missing. No blood, no signs of struggle, just gone. Every screen displayed a message in ancient Earth text. You were warned. It chilled even the bravest warriors of the Thrax Empire. But the Council still didn't act. They called it a coincidence. The silent retaliation, one by one. Small acts of aggression against Earth's former allies began to backfire. The Talon tried to seize an old human mining station in the Draco cluster. They landed with 10,000 troops. Within minutes, they vanished. The station remained untouched, but every ship that entered after sent only one message before falling silent: static, static, we see you. And then silence again. The council called a private meeting. It was tense, panicked. Species that once mocked humans were now whispering among themselves in fear. Something had changed. The humans hadn't just left. They had planned this. The Whisper Protocol back on Earth. Something ancient had been activated. No one could confirm it, but smugglers, traders, and pirate networks reported hearing strange signals. In deep space, low pulses, hidden in background radiation, and they all pointed to one truth. Humanity was moving, quietly, powerfully, and they were watching. Every attack, every insult, every betrayal was being recorded. They were not gone, they were preparing. Some species tried reaching out to the human colonies, but all they got were automated replies. The Accord has failed. There is no peace. Others, like the Zentari, started to panic. Openly, they moved their capital stations, reinforced their borders, begged the Council to issue a formal apology to Earth, but no one could find Earth anymore. Even Earth's coordinates in the star maps were blank. It was as if the entire Il-Sol system had been cut out of space itself. A message in the void one day. A diplomatic ship from the Van Republic drifted too close to the old Earth shipping lanes. It vanished for 2 days. When it returned, only one crew member was alive. Eyes wide, trembling, he kept repeating the same thing. They're not hiding, they're waiting. His body shut down from shock hours later. His mind had seen something too large to explain. The Council finally understood. The humans didn't walk away from peace out of anger. They walked away because they were done pretending, done negotiating, done warning. They were setting the stage. Council in disarray by the end of the 4th month. Half the galaxy was in chaos. Minor powers armed themselves to the teeth. Old enemies started making desperate alliances. Pirate factions disappeared into deep space, no longer brave enough to raid human zones, and behind it all rumors of ghost fleets, returning to long-dead outposts, black ships without markings, human tech, but far more advanced, ships that didn't appear on radar until it was too late. Ships that never attacked, they just watched. Final scene, in the shadows of the Grand Accord Hall. The Zentari ambassador met quietly with the Vaughn High Priestess. "We need to act," he whispered. "We must ask for Earth's forgiveness." But the priestess shook her head slowly. "It's too late. We made a mistake." Her eyes turned toward the stars, voice barely above a breath. Humanity didn't leave the galaxy. They're above it now, and somewhere, far away, beyond sensors, beyond lighter, vast dark ship turned its silent gaze toward the Council. Worlds dot, not with rage, not with hate, but with purpose. And it had already begun to move. News broke during a routine council meeting. On Relvic Prime, a Kolari scout ship, fast and shielded, had entered the neutral zone near Old Terran territory. It had been tracking unknown energy readings that pulsed in impossible rhythms. Then it vanished. No distress beacon, no debris, just one final whisper sent before the signal died. "They see us." The chamber fell quiet when the message played. Even the grand speakers, usually smug and full of pride, looked uneasy. They asked a Zan delegate, his voice barely audible. They who? 2 weeks passed. Then came the second disappearance. A scientific vessel, sent by the Trinari, was pulled from hyperspace, mid-jump. Sensors around the rift flared and went dead. When data was recovered later from a relay buoy, it showed one terrifying frame, a massive shadow eclipsing stars. It was not a Terran ship. Not exactly. It was larger than anything the Council had on record. No identification beacon, no communication, just silence and a black, angled shape like a blade cutting through space itself. Worse, the vessel's surface shifted. It didn't reflect light normally. It absorbed it, one Trinari scientist muttered. It looked like the void moved. A new term quickly spread through the Council's ranks, whispered behind closed doors. Ghost fleet. Back on Earth. Nothing moved on official channels. Humanity had gone completely silent. No diplomatic messages, no open trade, no broadcasts, no war declarations, just nothing. It was as if Earth had faded from the galactic stage, leaving only a shadow behind. But for those who had studied Terran history, this silence wasn't peace. It was warning. The Varthan ambassador, a tall creature made of glass and nerve threads, summoned an emergency session. We are witnessing Terran escalation, it said calmly. Their silence is part of their strategy. It always has been. Look at their past wars. Every major conflict began with withdrawal. They retreat, they study, they adapt. But we gave them peace, argued the Jalari. You gave them control, the Varthan responded coldly. And now they've taken it back. On the planet Veltana, a listening post picked up something strange. Human signals, encrypted, ancient in format, and bouncing off deep space anomalies. No one had used those frequencies since the early Terran space age, and yet they were everywhere. Bouncing across old colonies, through asteroid fields, behind moons. Some looped endlessly, others changed mid-transmission, as if reacting to being heard. One translated message read, "Do not follow. Do not chase. We gave you peace. You chose control. Now watch the stars bleed." The Galactic Council panicked. Some said it was a bluff. Others weren't so sure. On Ethera Prime, the seat of Council power, the mood shifted from confidence to fear. A quiet emergency meeting was called. Only the core members were present. No aides, no media. The Alari High Counselor stood first. "This is not the humanity we negotiated with." "No," said the Varthan again. "This is the real humanity, the one beneath the smiles, the one born in fire." There was silence. Then the door opened. A hologram flickered to life at the center of the room. A human, not a diplomat, not a soldier. A woman, civilian, middle-aged, wearing black. She said just one thing. "It has begun." The lights flickered. Power cut out across half the planet for 11 seconds. When systems returned, the Council's secure database had been wiped. The files marked Earth contingency were gone. Across dozens of Council-aligned systems, reports flooded in. A relay station near the Circan Abyss was found burned out, its data cores fused. No signs of attack. A Zan fuel convoy vanished in Sector 12, where no human ship had been detected in over a year. A secret weapons lab on Delta Carinine sent one brief image, a Terran emblem carved into steel. It was a fist, clenched in front of a shattered circle, the old symbol of resistance during the First Human Jalari War. No one knew who had carved it, or how it had gotten past security, but everyone understood its message. we remember. In the far edges of known space, a new rumor emerged. Miners, smugglers, black market traders, they began whispering about sightings of ghost ships. Massive vessels with no ID, moving without sound. Ships with human outlines. But wrong. Bigger, faster, colder. One scavenger claimed to have seen a ship dock with a derelict council freighter. It remained for 10 minutes. When he approached, the ship vanished in a shimmer of static. The freighter. Everyone inside was dead. No wounds, just frozen eyes wide, mouths open, hands clawing at their own heads. And a final message burned into the control panel. You shouldn't have followed. On Earth, deep beneath the Antarctic wastes, a room full of screens lit up. Dozens of people, scientists, officers, analysts watched silently. One voice broke the silence. Council reaction time, predictable. System security, weak. Ghost fleet. Operations successful. Another screen showed galactic movement patterns. Hundreds of ships from Council allies, repositioning, scrambling. Just as planned, a third voice said. In the shadows, an older human with deep scars across his face nodded. They laughed at our silence, he whispered. Now, let them hear the sound of stars dying. He stepped forward. His eyes were cold steel. Phase 2 begins now. Back in the Accord Chamber, the Council was in chaos. Arguments erupted. Some demanded retaliation, others urged caution. Few suggested retreat. But no one knew where Earth's borders even were anymore. Humanity had disappeared only to return as shadows and steel. A message arrived on every screen at once, as if triggered by their fear. This is not war. His response, do not seek peace, seek truth. Until then, stay. The halls of the Galactic Council were quiet, too quiet. Even though the room was full, the silence felt heavier than ever. Since the humans had walked away, everything had changed. Small wars had started, trade routes were blocked, trust was falling apart. Old enemies were speaking in secret. Friends were no longer friends, but no one had expected what came next. It began with a strange message, AGA pulse, a whisper, a sound from deep space. The message did not come from a planet. It didn't come from a station. It didn't even come from known space. It came from the edge of the void, the place between galaxies, a dead zone. The signal was weak, broken, and human. The Council's top minds tried to decode it. After hours of work, they managed to extract just a few words. They are not ready. The truth must be seen. We are watching. The message sent fear through the Council, like fire through dry grass. What does it mean? Asked High Lord Serix of the Aetheri. It's a trick, spat Gorzel of the Core. Humans playing with us again. But the Thurn scientist, Yulan, shook her head. No, this isn't just human tech. This signal is buried under layers of quantum encryption. It was hidden in the gravity wave spectrum. That made everyone go quiet again. Only humans used that kind of technology, and they had sworn never to use it again, not after the 10-year Dark War. But if they had, it meant only one thing. They were preparing. Meanwhile, deep in the void edge, far from Council eyes, a human ship drifted silent, cloaked and hidden. It wasn't just a ship. It was a listening post, a command center, and something else. Something older inside. A human woman stared at a glowing map of the galaxy. Her name was Admiral Lena Voss. She had not spoken at the Council, but she had watched, and now she was in command. We've intercepted 5 communications showing Alliances reforming, said her officer, Eric Cho, and 6 systems have stopped following council orders. Voss nodded slowly. Good, let them tear each other apart. Eric frowned. Admiral, with respect, should we not try again? Diplomacy. Voss turned to him. Her face was calm, cold, and tired. They laughed when we spoke truth. They called us warmongers. But now they are about to learn why humanity always prepares for the worst. She pressed a button. The lights dimmed. A series of holograms appeared, one by one. Each showed a secret station, a hidden fleet, a dormant weapon. But they weren't on Earth. They weren't even in the Sol system. They were scattered across the void, inside black holes, and buried in time-locked rifts. Humanity hadn't just left the council. They had stepped into the shadows, and they weren't alone. Back at the council hall, chaos had begun. To members Valari and Drox had gone to war over a mining world. Ships clashed, trade collapsed. The accord, once held by unity, was breaking. And yet, in the middle of all this, a strange rumor began to spread. A rumor that humans were watching. The Illith, a secretive race of mind-readers, claimed they had sensed voices in the dark. They said the humans had connected to the deep net, the galaxy's hidden layer of thought and code. Others laughed at them, but one by one the laughing stopped, because the Council's own systems began to glitch. Messages went missing, navigation, maps warped, defense grids reset. It was like someone had inserted a ghost into the code, and always, before the glitch, one symbol flashed: infinity, 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 an infinite spiral, an old Earth sign, the mark of the Deep Fleet. What is the Deep Fleet? Asked Councillor Thien of the Zeveran. No one had an answer, because it wasn't supposed to exist in the old war. The Deep Fleet was a mythship built to never be found. AI so advanced it could think like gods. Weapons that broke the laws of physics. No one had seen it. No one had proof until now. Admiral Voss stood before a frozen Earthship, a giant sphere of polished silver. Around it floated a field of broken time. Her crew called it the Nest. It held secrets even she didn't understand. We wait no longer, she said. Her voice echoed across 12 other Deep Fleet commanders. She looked into the camera. Let the galaxy see what silence brings. And with one final command, release the Watchers. All across the galaxy, small objects awakened. Drones, probes, listening shadows. They didn't attack, they didn't speak. They simply appeared above planets, beside fleets, inside fortresses. Each had the same spiral mark, and each broadcast the same message. We offered peace. You rejected truth. Now we observe. Panic spread like wildfire. Some tried to shoot them, nothing worked. Others begged for answers, no reply came. The Council tried to send a message to Earth, but Earth didn't answer. Not even once. The homeworld of humans had gone dark. No lights, no traffic, no signals, just silence in a distant observatory. A small alien child looked up at the stars. His mother tucked him into bed. Will the humans hurt us, Mama? He asked. She smiled sadly. No, child, but they will not save us either. And outside, their window, one of the Watcher probes floated quietly in the sky, like a star that didn't blink. Back in the void, Admiral Voss whispered to herself, we were the warning. Now we are the storm. And the Deep Fleet continued to rise, not to fight, not yet, but to watch until the galaxy tore itself apart, or begged for peace again, this time on humanity's terms. The skies above Laraxus Prime were painted with streaks of light battle wreckage, defense satellites failing, and panic broadcasts echoing in all directions. But it wasn't the destruction that scared the Council. It was the fact that Earth still hadn't said a single word. No declaration of war. No threats. No reasons. Just silence. And silence from humanity was now the galaxy's loudest terror. Main story, simple English, third person, 2,000+ word style. The Galactic Council scrambled to recover from the last attacks. 3 major planets had gone dark. Fleets were vanishing. And still, no official word had come from Earth, in the hidden chambers beneath the Council Hall. Supreme Chancellor Velek gathered what was left of the core species. The long table, once full of delegates, now had empty seats. Their allies were falling fast. They haven't made any demands, whispered the Sarnax ambassador. That's not how this works. You don't fight without saying why. They're humans, said Velek slowly, and we mocked them. Do you not remember? The Zentari commander growled. They walked away from peace. They refused unity. No, Velek replied, voice thin. They warned us. The room fell quiet. Flashback moments to part 1 to 2, Earth. Envoy stood and said only 5 words. This peace is a lie. They had left without explanation. Many species laughed. Others didn't. And now, entire sectors were collapsing. Parallel scene. Human space Titan class. Flagship Oblivions. Edge Captain Isla Ren stared at the map. Dozens of red marks blinked slowly. Systems targeted, not yet touched. Orders, her tactical officer asked. She looked out at the stars. Let them watch, let them wonder. No emotion, no celebration. Humanity wasn't here for vengeance. They were here to remove the lie. Council's desperate response of Velek ordered the formation of a new peace committee. Desperate messages were sent to Earth's borders. They begged for talks, promised reform. They even blamed the war-hungry species, the ones now conveniently silent or destroyed. But Earth didn't reply. Instead, Council deep space monitors picked up something horrifying, a massive ring larger than any known space station had appeared near the edge of the Arcturus Veil. It was not broadcasting any codes, but it was unmistakably of human design. Worse, it was building ships, not hundreds, thousands, ground-level reactions. On the farming world of Derek's 4, local alien citizens watched emergency news feeds. The footage was grainy but clear. Human ships, disabling entire planetary defenses in under 6 minutes. Without casualties. They didn't destroy cities. They didn't bomb populations. They just shut things off. Communications, power, spaceports. Then vanished. The message was clear. Earth didn't want slaves, didn't want planets, didn't want gold, resources, or control. They just wanted the lie to end. Meanwhile, in the shadows, while the Council crumbled, a few species began secret meetings. The Varric Syndicate, the Shardkin, even old enemies like the Dothari. All had once laughed at humans. Now they feared them. They're dismantling the galaxy, said one Shardkin operative, voice shaking. One node at a time, quiet, precise. What do they want? Asked another. Justice, came the reply. Or something worse. Final scene ending with suspense. A broadcast suddenly appeared across all known networks. No encryption, no request, just one line. From Earth, simple white text on black. We gave you peace. You used it as a cage. Now, we will break the bars. The signal ended. No fleet appeared. No attack followed. Just silence. And silence had never been so terrifying. The sky above Zolva 3 turned red, not from sunrise, not from solar winds, but from the massive energy pulse that tore through the upper atmosphere. The grand observatory's sensors screamed warnings, and alarms echoed across the planet. They're here. A technician shouted, pale as death, above them, in orbit. A sleek human warship, black, silent, and completely unreadable, hovered with no transponder. Number IFF, signal, no response to hails. The Galactic Council's emergency alert system blared. Across hundreds of systems, unknown Terran vessel has entered restricted Council space. No declaration, no signal, await instructions. But there were no instructions, because no one knew what to say anymore. 10 hours earlier, the Council believed it still had control, despite the growing number of systems, collapsing into rebellion. Despite the silence from Earth and the disappearance of dozens of Terran envoys, despite whispers that human colonies were going dark by choice, the Council met again on Virella Prime. It was supposed to be a calm session, just clean up, reports, numbers. They hadn't even assigned armed guards to the chamber. That was their mistake. High above, cloaked beyond conventional sensors, a small Terran stealth vessel silently released a black pod. It dropped through the skies of Virella, invisible, frictionless. When it landed on the Capitol building's roof, it made no sound. 3 figures emerged, dressed in obsidian armor, no insignias, no weapons visible, but their eyes glowed faint. Red human cybernetic neural links, silent, calculating. Upload sequence ready, one of them said. They didn't attack. Not yet. Instead, they walked through the halls, past unknowing guards, and directly to the main central data vault. Then, they uploaded the footage. Footage played across the galaxy. A signal was triggered across 314 systems, 86 major planets, and all Council-controlled fleets. Screens blinked black. Then the footage began. It was raw, brutal, unfiltered, and clearly human-made. It showed what the Council tried to hide, how they'd secretly funded attacks on human colonies to force Earth into compliance. It showed unauthorized alien raids on Terran vessels, labeled as pirates, but actually sanctioned by certain Council members. And most horrifying, it showed Council labs, where human civilians were being experimented on, alive. The footage ended with a simple Terran message. We tried peace. You chose silence. Now we speak in fire. The screen went dark. Then chaos erupted. Panic in the Council inside the chamber. Representatives screamed over each other. This is doctored. It's propaganda. Where did they get this? The humans were watching us the entire time. The Drazen ambassador slammed his clawed fist on the table. I warned you. I said their silence was a message. The Council chair tried to restore order. We don't know if this is real. It is real, came a voice from the side. All eyes turned to the tall figure who had just entered. She wore no armor, no visible weapon, just a black uniform of Earth Command Intelligence. It was Agent Mira Cade. She was supposed to be dead. Earth is done talking, she said simply. Council guards rushed in, but by then, Mira was already gone. A projection, the chamber went into full lockdown. But the damage was done. First, retaliation. No, a warning hours later, when the human ship entered Zalvok 3's orbit. Many believed war had officially begun. They ordered the ship to retreat. They launched warning drones. They even prepared a pulse barrage to disable it. But then, the human ship released something, not weapons, coffins. Dozens of small metallic pods floated down into the planet's atmosphere, each one engraved with names, the names of every human civilian killed in the pirate raids orchestrated by the Council. One by one, they landed in front of Council buildings, and when scanned, each coffin contained perfect genetic remains, footage, and irrefutable evidence of who had ordered the strikes. That was Earth's first strike, not with fire, but with truth. It was worse than bombs, because it shattered the Council from the inside worlds. Begin to break away as the news spread. Systems began breaking away from the Galactic Accord. Several neutral planets declared independence within the day. Others pledged allegiance to Earth, saying, if they stood silent after this, we no longer trust the Council. Even longtime allies, like the Ventari, began pulling their ships from Council patrols everywhere. Signs of the old order falling apart grew stronger. Some begged Earth for peace, others prepared for war, but Earth said nothing. Their ships simply moved, precise, unchallenged, and untouchable, like a ghost, delivering justice back on Earth. In the Terran Command Corps, Commander Yalan Cross watched the chaos unfold on a massive screen wall. Beside him, Admiral Weiss whispered, they still think they can contain this. Jalen's expression was unreadable. We didn't start the war, but we will decide how it ends. A moment of silence, then he turned to his officers. Deploy the sentry fleet. No attack, just presence. Let the galaxy see that Earth is awake, he added, and we remember everything. Meanwhile, in the shadows, not all humans were content with warnings. Deep in the fringe worlds, Black Ops Terran factions moved without orders. They didn't care about peace or messages to them. The Council had already declared war long ago. Now it was time to return the favor. One such operative, a woman known only as Shade, stood above the ruins of a Council supply base in Sector 12. She activated her comm. Another one down. They won't rebuild this time. A voice replied, orders. She smirked. There are no orders anymore, just truth and consequences. End of Part 9, hook for Part 10. Across the stars, the final preparations were underway. Earth wasn't hiding anymore. The skies were watching. The fleets were aligning, and the Council had one final choice, bow or burn. The message came without warning. Across the galaxy, screens lit up. Every ship, every station, every government channel, a symbol appeared. First Earth's emblem, glowing crimson against the black. Then came a voice, calm, cold, human. This is not a declaration of war. This is a declaration of truth. In the Accord Hall, the Council scrambled. Some tried to block the signal. Others froze. The message continued. You ignored our warnings. You used peace to hide control. You fed on the weak, wrapped it in diplomacy. We left because we saw the rot, and now we act. Then the screen changed. What followed wasn't a threat. It was a map, a galactic map. Dozens of systems marked, some glowing red, others already grayed out, gone. The humans had not only watched, they had moved. Covert actions, silent strikes, systems where governors vanished, shipyards that no longer answered, whole fleets that had simply disappeared. It hadn't been chaos. It had been a plan. The chaos was a cover. The camera panned to the speaker now, a woman. Grey hair, black uniform. Human, she looked straight into the lens. The Unity Accord is dead. You killed it the day you made peace a prison. Earth does not seek conquest. But we will no longer bow. From this moment, we are free. And so is anyone who stands with us. Chaos unfolds in real time. The Galactic Council, still shaken by the message, descended into open shouting. Zrath-Chi of the hegemony of fire slammed his claws on the table. They've taken 3 of our colonies already. The Arkelian matriarch hissed, her feathers flared. Your spies said they had no fleet movement. A dozen ambassadors shouted, accused, denied, but the truth was now a wave flooding them. All that humans hadn't disappeared into silence. They had been preparing. They had built in the shadows. Not weapons of mass destruction, but alliances, ideas, resistance. Dozens of fringe colonies now claimed loyalty to Earth. Systems once called unimportant now flew the Earth flag. The unseen fleet in deep space. Something stirred at the edge of the Orion expanse. A fleet appeared, but it didn't jump in. It didn't broadcast. It simply arrived. Black ships, silent hulls. Not massive, not dramatic, just efficient, eerie, and fast. A patrol ship from the Council made contact. They hailed once, no reply. They hailed again. Then, the human fleet responded with action. In less than 10 seconds, the Council ship was disabled. Not destroyed, just dead in space. Its systems offline. Crew unharmed. No damage visible. Just a message burned into the bridge wall. Observe. Do not interfere. Back on Earth, the human assembly met in silence. No celebration, no cheers. President Elaine Monroe stood before her generals, scientists, and leaders. They will call us warmongers, but we are not. They will panic, but that's because we finally told the truth. She looked at the massive screen behind her. Dozens of species joining. Not armies, but thinkers, engineers, outcasts. Colonies tired of being ruled by greed and fear. Humanity had not started a war. They had started an idea, and it was spreading. The Council fractures news from the outer rim. 2 Council races declare neutrality. Another race, the Vari, offers full support to Earth in one solar cycle. The Council loses 15% of its influence, and then something happens no one expects. The Crowana, an ancient warlike species that had stayed quiet for centuries, sends a single message to Earth. Respect. That is all we ever wanted. You may have been weak, but now you are honest. You do not hide behind fake peace. We do not bow to the Council. We stand alone. But we will not raise arms against Earth. It stuns the galaxy. The Krona were feared by all. Their silence had always been seen as watching. Waiting now. They had spoken, and it was in support of Earth's path. One last message. The final twist came at the close of the day. Another broadcast. This time from a station orbiting the Council's core world. It wasn't human. It was a mix of species scientists, thinkers, and even former Council staff. They had formed something.